Alright, so now that you guys know how to use the distance sensor, what we're going to do is we're going to use it to have your robot stay a certain distance away from an object. So I picked 200 millimeters since that's a reasonable distance for it to be. So the basic structure of it is just if we're too close, back up. If we're too far away, move closer. So we'll go ahead and get started. We'll start with the motors and sensors, like always. I'm using a Clawbot, so my left motor is in port 1. My right drive motor is in port 6. And to have it drive forward as forward, we're going to have the right motor be reversed. Then under devices, my ultrasonic distance sensor is in port 6, or in port 7, sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and have that set up there. We're going to have a distance sonar type, hit OK, and now we have all of our motors and sensors set up. So now we need to start on our code. Again, like what we frequently do, since this code needs to run forever, we're going to create a while true loop so that it will run forever. So now we can start working on our code. So for it to work, we need to see if we are closer than our desired distance, we need to have it back up. So if we do that, that'll look something like this. Now a couple of little things that we need to do. If you notice, I did 195. The reason is if I did 200, it'd be there's some stuff that I'll get to in a little bit. For now, just work with me, and what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of range in which it's acceptable, so it'll be like from 195 to 205, we'll say we're close enough that it doesn't need to move. So if we are reading a value smaller than 255, that means we're getting too close, so we need to back up. You're probably going to have it be a pretty low speed, because if you back up too fast, you might go like too far back, and then you're going to have to move close again. So we have it at a pretty low speed just to try to make sure that the robot doesn't back up too far. Next we'll check to see if we are farther than 205 millimeters away. If we are, then we need to move forward. And again, this is the same deal. We want to move forward fairly slowly, so that way we don't drive on past it too far. And we also are giving ourselves a little bit of range. Then what we have at the very end is if we are right in between these, which would be our else, we'll have it stop. So if we're perfectly in between here, we'll have it stop. Now the reason that I didn't have 200 and 200 in here for both of these is if I had 200 for both, what would end up happening is we'd have to drive really, really slowly, like way slower than what we're doing. Otherwise, it would drive past it. And then we'd have to back up and drive past. And your robot would end up just moving back and forth and not actually ever stopping and just sitting there. So what we did was we gave it a little bit of a range in which we said it was okay for it to stop in. So I picked plus or minus 5 millimeters. So this will have it stay between 195 and 205 millimeters away from whatever it is following. So if you run this code, your robot should work, and it should stay that distance away. And if you move it, it'll move forward, move it back, robot will back up, and just keep following it around. Hope you guys learned something.